Hello and welcome everyone. We are in Cologne at Gamescom 2019. My name is Nims and today Nintendo presents a more in-depth look at The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition. Now joining us today we have a very special guest from CD Projekt Red. We have Miles Toast joining us. Hello Miles, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, it's a pleasure.
Awesome. And from Nintendo of Europe we have Kaveh. Hello Kaveh.
Hi Nims, hello everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Now Kaveh, we're going to be taking a look at this game in handheld mode.
That is correct, Nims. So thanks to a little bit of Nintendo magic, we're able to show you what the game looks like in handheld mode.
Amazing.
So our viewers out there will see within a Switch frame, basically a one-to-one representation of what the game is like in handheld mode. Meaning that for users out there that may be watching in full HD, what they will see within the Switch frame will be a one-to-one representation of what it's like to play this game on the go.
Right, which is it's a big thing. I'm excited about that. So, Miles, for the viewers who are watching at home, could you give us a introduction to The Witcher 3, and tell us a little bit about maybe the storyline and things to do with this chapter?
Yes, so The Witcher 3 is a narrative-driven action RPG set in a medieval fantasy world, and players take over the role of a character called Geralt of Rivia, and Geralt of Rivia is a witcher, a kind of, how would you say, like a monster hunter, a professional monster hunter.
Ah, okay.
Who, other than just hunting monsters, he's actually uniquely equipped for this, because being a witcher means that you have undergone a certain set of mutations that give you superhuman abilities, reflexes, and strength.
Okay.
Making him uniquely qualified to go through the job of being a monster hunter. And Geralt has sort of taken on the ultimate contract, which is to find the child of prophecy.
Oh, well, I'm sold. Let's go.
So yeah, let's go. Let's start. You may have noticed there was a marker that was displayed about the guarded treasure. That's going to be in this area here, but it seems to be protected by a wyvern, so I'm gonna go take care of that. And as you may have seen just now, Geralt automatically wielded a sword there, and I believe this is a silver sword, and you can have multiple swords in this game.
Exactly. Witchers usually use two kinds of swords. They use a steel sword for beasts and men, and then they use a silver sword for magical creatures and apparitions. And we can actually see this here with the silver HP bar that this beast has, that, the silver sword is indeed the right choice. But Geralt will make that choice for us, so we don't really need to worry about which sword we're using.
And I've also just used the Witcher sign there. So Witcher sign are spells, right, that you can use as well in combat.
Yes. As a witcher, Geralt is able to sort of utilize a basic form of magic, and this basic form of magic allows him to cast so-called signs. And we just saw here the Igni sign, which allows you to cast this fiery blast. We have the protective Quen sign, for example, that casts a shield around you, or one of my favorites is actually the Erden sign, which generates a trap on the ground that if monsters run into, they'll be temporarily stunned.
Right.
Here we go. Now that we've taken care of this wyvern, we can just find this guarded treasure. So one thing you can do is use Witcher senses, which allow you to highlight kind of interactive elements of the environment. And here this helps us unveil this guarded treasure that we were looking for here.
Nice.
This is just one example of what you can find when you're exploring through the world. I'm gonna go for a small walk here and see if I can find something else in this area.
I mean, just looking at this particular view right now, it looks absolutely huge. So a small walk is an interesting choice there, Kaveh.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten the best of weather nowadays here, but again, that's such as the price of having a dynamic weather system, right, to which the world also reacts.
Right.
Which is really cool, and it actually makes a difference whether we're fighting in the rain or in the sunshine for certain types of monsters.
Right. Could you tell us a little bit about these monsters we've got here, Miles?
Yeah, these are rot fiends, and as you can see, as they're defeated, they blow up and explode, which, is a good thing to know. So Geralt knows, or you as a player know, that you need to move away from them to prevent any damage, right? And it's an important skill as a professional monster hunter to know what you're dealing with. And we even offer what we call the bestiary, right, where players actually throughout the journey and throughout their contact with different monsters can gather and collect the knowledge that they have
Wow.
much also like on these devourers that just
Wow.
popped up. And whoa, as I said, it's really important to learn sort of the strengths and weaknesses of any kind of monster, as you see here, to be able to react to them and come in well prepared.
Right. So yeah, thank you very much for this introduction to the multiple things you can do here. I'm gonna have a quick look now at the inventory to just showcase all these different things that you can equip yourself with. I tried using the crossbow earlier with not much success, I have to admit. But you can also like use potions and bombs as well to do a lot of damage or to destroy the monster nest, as I just did on screen. But one thing I would like to have a closer look at is the character tab, Miles.
Yes.
Can you talk a bit about what this character tab is about?
Absolutely. So here's basically where you spend your talent points, ability points to customize how you can play Geralt, right? If you're really into sword fighting, then you can branch into the combat tree, which focuses down on that and makes Geralt sort of this almost, you know, dancing sword fighter at the very end, a very powerful melee combatant. Whereas if you are more into magic, for example, you can invest into the science tree that dramatically enhances your magical abilities. For example, the Igni sign can be improved to create a 360-degree fiery burst around you, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
And then last but not least, Witchers are pretty crafty people, so they engage into a lot of alchemy, brewing potions which can help them against certain monster types. Again, that ties into knowing what kind of beast you're dealing with, right? The right medicine for the right sickness, if you will, right? And also you can craft bombs, right? And these can be useful, for example, when fighting vampires. A vampire might need a silver bomb because they have the tendency to turn invisible, and with a silver shrapnel bomb, you can defeat this ability and render them visible, and make them a much easier foe to defeat. And of course, all these talents that you can invest, you can then modify using these mutagens, which you get from slaying monsters. So you can see here how slaying monsters directly improves your ability to slay monsters. And matching the specific color of the mutagen to the talents that you've chosen, in this case we see a very general build, right? You're not you're not meant to, or not meant to, but you're not necessarily bound to having to invest into a specific skill, but you can create a hybrid to suit your own tastes, really, right? And these mutagens improve those abilities when you match them properly.
There you go. And as you can see here on the screen, I have indeed created a well-rounded character. So I've invested in multiple different skills and all assigned them to me so that I have a bit of extra attack power, but also a bit of extra sign power and develop my signs a bit further. All right, so now I'm just going to call Roach, our dear friend.
Our trusty steed.
Here he comes.
Yeah, but customization like this is really important to us when we create RPG experiences, right? You'll want to be able to, you know, use the equipment that you want to use to upgrade your character and have this sense of progression of becoming stronger and better. And you can do this by, you know, with the tools that you craft, by improving the tools that you have, or acquiring new armor and swords.
So calling Roach, is great, but having somewhere to go is even better. So I'm just gonna have a quick look at the world map here.
Nothing wrong with just galloping around that amazing scenery. I would do that.
And here we can basically see the map of Novigrad and No Man's Land.
Exactly. So these are two of our hub worlds, essentially. Huge connected areas that the player in by itself will be able to explore freely without any loading screens actually interrupting your experience.
And I will set a marker here in Novigrad. That will be my goal now. But before I go there, I want to show the world map because this is just a part of it, right?
Exactly.
So in addition to these regions, you have a lot more regions that you can explore, including the Duchy of Toussaint.
Yes.
Which was added later on, right?
Exactly. It's the big sort of extra region we added as part of our second expansion, Blood and Wine, and players of the complete edition will have free access to that, you know, because that's why it's the complete edition. It has all the content we've ever released for the game on one cartridge.
All right. That said, I will now make my way to Novigrad.
Yeah, and we can see here that, as I said, you know, you're able to move through this world completely freely. There's no loading screens unless you choose to fast travel between places and the continent, right? But other than that, you can, we see the big city there in the distance, and we'll just be able to approach this just like that. Even entering interiors like these houses that we see in front of us, all that happens without any loading screens.
Wow.
And that makes the whole experience very seamless, right? You see also a huge amount of NPCs being rendered here, really allowing this sort of place to come to life. And it's really important for us to create an immersive environment and an immersive world that you really can get lost in.
Okay. So this particular area we're about to enter into, Miles, could you tell us a little bit about it in terms of maybe the inspiration behind the design?
Yes, absolutely. So the city we're approaching is the biggest city in our game. It's called Novigrad. And you can sort of think about it as sort of medieval Amsterdam in a way, right? It's actually also quite a bit inspired by that, it being a medieval trades town with a harbor. And that's sort of important for us how we think about these places that we create, right? We try to root them in like logical ways, like how would this city, why does it exist here? It has a harbor, so it's rich for trade, that's what makes it have its place in the world. And Geralt himself, he will sort of dive deep into this city as part of also the main story, but it's also a place where you can pick up many side quests, many side activities, talk to different characters, buy new gear at vendors. So it's really a rich place that offers a lot of different things for the player to do.
So I believe, Kaveh, we are heading to the marker that you set on the map. Is that correct?
Exactly, yeah, that is correct. And here, yeah, we can see a lot of townsfolk. There's also a merchant, as you can see there. He's also indicated on the mini-map with various icons showing them. I just wanted to take a moment to go talk to him because he seems to be a Gwent aficionado. Aficionado. I'm not telling you.
That's the one.
He likes Gwent. And this is sort of this ongoing quest, right, in the game where you can play cards, basically.
Yes, it's a more light-hearted side activity that Geralt also likes to dabble in, a kind of card game that people in this world play all across the world, essentially, independent of where you are. And yeah, Geralt will be able to find lots of good challenges and also gain some cool rewards, complete decks, and even there you'll be able to sort of choose your favorite deck, the one that suits your playstyle.
Wow.
And engage in this quite crafty side experience.
And here we have Nidas.
Okay.
I will talk to Nidas.
Right.
Hear about the notice by chance?
Not exactly. What is it
Quite.
about?
What's it about? I hear, right, you're going on some voyage, need a companion. Not just some voyage. Cross the sea. Mark this. When I got pressed into the infantry in 1242, I promised my beloved Let I'd return alive, whole, and with a pearl from Skellige. Not just any
It's a big
pearl,
promise.
A pearl.
that one. The rarest and
Not
most
just
precious.
any pearl either.
Well, ambitious. Perhaps. But they were empty words. I came from the war, that one and the next. But I never fulfilled my promise. High time to change that. Or if not now, then when? Thing is, I've grown old in the meantime, as you see. Can't manage it alone, need a strong shoulder to lean on. Witcher's shoulders as strong as they come. So, what do you say?
What do you say, Kaveh?
Doesn't sound like a good deal, but
It's crazy.
I'll help
Why
this
not?
guy.
But there's an irresistible charm
Geralt
to
seems
it.
to agree.
And I'll help you out. Don't you fret about coin. I brought home a good deal of it from various fronts. Say we meet in Skellige, by the collapsed bridge near Arenbjorn. It's but a hop away from the bed where black pearls are born. Will that work for you? Sounds fine. See you there.
Alright. We've committed. So I'm gonna commit further by setting this quest as my next objective here.
So, Miles, could you tell us a little bit about what we was just seeing there in terms of there's different quests you can set and different types of quests, and Kaveh just set that one as his quest that he's going to focus on right now. Can you build upon that and do different types of quests as well?
Sure, absolutely. So, I mean, we at CD Projekt Red, we pride ourselves on being storytellers. For us, the story is sort of the central thing that drives everything we do when we make our games. And as such, Witcher 3 features what I hope to be an immersive and gripping main story, and of course also a huge variety of different side quests. But the cool thing that we try to do with many of these side quests is of course some of them are sort of independent, but many of them are actually tied into the main story in one way or another. And you'll actually have this where sometimes you won't actually be able to tell where the main story ends, where a side quest begins, because the side story you chose might have been spawned or because of your experiences in the main quest, and likewise the side quest might actually affect the outcome of your main story. So Witcher 3 has many different possible endings that really depend on the choices that you make throughout the main story. And we always like to say, your choices, your consequences. What you choose to do, you'll have to live with.
I noticed the cover, you were looking at a notice board as well. Is that where you can pick up some quests as well, Miles? Or
Yes, you know, if you're not really being approached by good old Nidas over there, you might find some work looking at one of the many notice boards that you'll find all across the world in many different villages, and they actually grant a lot of awesome background lore as well to the world, but, you know, lots of work for a Witcher to do.
All right. I was just taking a look at that map there again. That map it's huge. I'm just completely blown away. Miles, could you tell us how did you and your team manage to get such a gigantic game on the Nintendo Switch?
It's actually quite impressive to me as well itself, right? Having originally worked on the game and seeing it now work on the Switch, and we had a little bit of help here actually by our friends over at Saber Interactive, and they at some point they proposed to us, or they actually showcased us like, hey, look what we did, we can actually do it. And then when we saw it was possible, we basically immediately jumped for it, because the idea of having players, you know, actually enjoy the game wherever they are is very appealing to us. Again, experiencing the stories we want to tell, right? No matter where you are.
Oh, bit of rain here.
Okay.
So yeah, as you can see on the screen, Skellige looks quite different from where we just were.
Could you tell us a little bit about this particular area, Miles? As Kave just said, it looks a lot different from where we just were.
Yes, so Skellige is very different from Novigrad No Man's Land in that Novigrad No Man's Land has a lot of inspiration from a sort of Slavic, Middle Eastern, sort of Eastern European is the proper term, sort of culture and also mythology when it comes to the monsters. But here in Skellige, we're facing sort of a heavily inspired area by the Vikings and Norse mythology, right? So you'll see this actually in the architecture, in the vegetation, the way people talk. People, depending on the region you are in, actually have a different dialect as well that you'll be able to hear and sort of identify them as, you know, that's a Skellige, that's a guy from Novigrad. And that's actually really fascinating. Again, we're trying to create the most believable worlds that we can, and part of that is even, you know, extending that to our voice acting.
Kave, very brave, sailing in the rain.
Yes, in a storm.
Yeah.
Raindrops actually on the...
That is very cool.
It's very cool, yeah. The water physics in general are very impressive, I have to say.
It looks fantastic. It's a pity that we, you know, didn't get the best of weathers, but it's part of having a fully dynamic, not only day and night cycle, but also weather system. That, as I said earlier, that actually affects how monsters behave, and, you know, it might not be the best idea to go out hunting for monsters on a rainy day when those monsters might be, you know, affiliated with water elements.
Right. I like what you did there. Didn't give away too much for the players.
Exactly.
Kept the element of surprise in there. I like that.
So yeah, here I'm just making my way to the marker we can... Whoops, sorry about that. You can see on the mini-map. To hopefully find our dear friend Nidas again.
And it's cool that, you know, we offer the players also a lot of different ways to traverse this huge open world. As you can see here, we have a boat, so water is no limit to Geralt in that sense, right? We have Roach, of course, the horse, or you can just engage on travel by foot. And if all that is too much for you, and if you want to make the level designer's heart bleed a bit, you just fast travel, right? So it's all up to you and how you want to spend time in the game.
I assure you I won't be doing that.
I hope.
Good you're here. So, what'll it be? Will you help old JohnoDaz find a black pearl for his wife? I'd like it done already. Humidity's unkind to my bones. They've started creaking.
Let's go.
Let's go. But get ready for
I mean, I've come this far.
Find pearls where it's dry.
True. But I survived worse during the war. At Rosrock, we fought waist deep in the swamp and... wasted my breath. History don't mean a whit to youngsters. Come on. Pearl grounds aren't far now.
Okay.
Did he just call us a youngster?
Yeah.
Well,
I guess everything's relative, yeah.
something worth pointing out is actually the way this guy deals with or treats Geralt, right? It's not necessarily a given in this world that Geralt gets treated nicely and with a sort of level of respect that this guy is treating us with, because Witchers in this world are mostly actually feared because they are superhuman, right? They're not really considered as human, and people are oftentimes actually afraid of them.
This is the place. They say dive down here and you'll see the oyster beds all around. Problem is, not all hold pearls. And the black ones are a real rarity. But search long enough and you're sure to find one.
You're telling me now?
So I'm supposed to do the diving.
Well, you see, I've been in the infantry all my life, so I'm not one for water. And my lungs ain't what they used to be, so...
Probably not the best deal Geralt has done this one.
Always right.
But hey, at least it will pay
Work
eventually.
is work, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So here we go in the water. And yeah, again, I find the swimming as well incredibly impressive with the water physics.
The water does look very, very cool.
And that's yet another way you can traverse the world, right? Swimming and diving.
So as we're about to get, hopefully, a black pearl, any advice for Cave Mouse?
Don't stay too long underwater.
Yeah?
You don't seem to have
That's-
brewed the appropriate potion for it.
Ah,
Which is
yeah,
something that you
true.
can actually do. You know, you can craft potions, of course, to enhance your monster slaying abilities, but also there is a potion, for example, that enhances your ability to breathe underwater, and crafting that might be useful if you plan on going for a bit of an extended swim or dive, right?
Oh wow, I think we've got a visitor here, Cave.
Yes, there are some sirens that are making everything more difficult.
Oh my gosh.
And I think in order to not lose all my breath, I will need to go back up.
Yeah, maybe if you try the crossbow, you might be able to hit it.
True that. But I think breath will be my priority
breath,
here.
breath.
Made it.
Nice.
Alright, let's go for one more dive.
Yeah.
Where are you, Siren?
You can
No.
actually lock onto the target if you press one of the analog sticks, if I remember correctly.
There you are.
Hey, I got it.
Nice.
Nice. And now it drifts.
Lucky shot there.
That, but it's the one that counts.
Alright.
Where are you, Black Pearl?
So yeah, here I'm also using the Witcher senses to highlight the different elements you can interact with. Hoopla. Didn't do that one. This
Ah,
one,
almost.
not black. Another one here,
Come on.
not black.
Hey, grab some air,
And
grab
breath
some air.
problem.
Go, go, go.
Alright,
That would be a tragic end for Geralt of Rivia if he just drowned hunting for some pearls.
there we go.
Nice.
Alright, I think I will leave it at that anyway, because we don't want to spoil the rest of the
Yeah.
quest also for the viewers that are watching. Just gonna swim back to the shore.
Why not? All right, as Cave swims back to the shore, Miles, are there any closing remarks you'd like to leave for the viewers who are watching at home?
Yes, actually two things. So you've seen that Geralt is a pretty well-established character in this world. Some people know him, right? They know witches in general. And this is of course because there's been a couple of games before this and Geralt is an established character. However, I don't want this to be a deterrent for people who haven't played the previous games. Really, we made this game with all these new players in mind, and it's something that you can jump right into and enjoy much like, you know, or enjoy much without even any previous knowledge of the games. However, if you have played the previous games, you'll find like little Easter eggs and hints and winks to previous characters. But really, we made it so that you'll be able to find your way around and not feel out of place, simply diving in without any prior knowledge. The second thing is that, again, what we're launching here soon is our complete edition of Witcher 3, which means that it features all of the content that we've ever released for Witcher 3 on one cartridge. For this, we actually opted to go for the 32GB cartridge, so players have the full experience once they plug it into their Switch and are ready to go and explore this huge open world.
I'm sold. Like, I cannot wait for this game to come out. It's from what I've seen so far, which is a snippet of how huge this game is. It looks incredible, and the aesthetic of it is beautiful. So thank you so much, Miles, for joining us today. And Kaveh, thank you so much for your gameplay. Now, I believe you do have a special announcement for us for the release date of this title.
Yes, I wasn't kidding when I was saying soon, because it's actually very soon. And The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition launches on Nintendo Switch on October 15th this year.
Wow, that's not very far at all.
It's very soon indeed.
Very soon indeed. So once again, thank you so much, Miles, for joining us. Kaveh, thank you so much for your gameplay. And for everybody watching at home, this was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all very soon. See ya.
Bye.
Hello and welcome everyone. We are in Cologne at Gamescom 2019. My name is Nims, and today Nintendo presents a more in-depth look at the very exciting Astral Chain. Joining us today we have a very special guest, the director of Astral Chain, Mr. Taura. Hello Mr. Taura, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello. ありがとうございます。こちらこそありがとうございます。Yeah, thank you really for having me.
Thank you so much. And from Nintendo of Europe, we have Filippo. Hello, Filippo.
Hi, Nims. Hello, everyone.
Now, Filippo, you're going to be talking us through the actual gameplay we're going to see today.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to stop me from talking about this.
Okay, sure. And on actual gameplay itself, we're going to be seeing Kaveh play from Nintendo Europe. Hello, Kaveh. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, everyone.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure at
I'm
all.
good.
And we have our interpreter from Nintendo of Europe, Kaz. Hello, Kaz.
Hi, Nims. Hi, everyone.
Excellent. Now, we're just going to get straight to it. Mr. Taura, for the viewers who are watching at home, could you give us a brief introduction to what is Astral Chain and what it's all about?
まずはアストラルチェーンの紹介から始めてもらってもいいですか？
はい、このゲームはですね、特殊部隊ネウロンに新しく入隊した双子が主人公となって、プレイヤーは双子のどちらかを選択してゲームをスタートすることになります。
So in Astral Chain, players will start off by choosing between a twin brother or sister who have been recruited into a special section of the police force called the Neuron.
この世界の地球はですね、異世界から突如現れたキメラって呼ばれている怪物の侵略を受けていて、人々は異世界に飲み込まれつつあります。
So the human world is actually being invaded by creatures called Chimera. And they are actually dragging people from Earth into an alternate dimension called the Astral Plane.
でこの状況を打破するためにですね、ネウロン部隊っていうのはレギオンっていう生体兵器の力を駆使してキメラとの戦いを繰り広げるっていうそんなゲームになってます。
And this game is all about the Neuron who are standing up against this Chimera invasion using the power of legions.
Right, yes, that's a great introduction to the storyline, to the basics. What I wanted to say in the part that we are showing today, we are roughly midway through the game, and we are in a closed-off area of the Ark, the place where humanity lives. And in this part, we are looking for a gang of people called the Hermits.
Ah, right. So I think we're good to go. Now, as we're about to go into this battle, for everybody who's watching at home, Mr. Taura, could you tell us a little bit about the Hermits? Who are they, and what is the inspiration for a hermit?
ハーミットというのはどういう集団なんですか。またインスピレーションはどこから得たんでしょうか。
そうですね、このハーミットっていうのはこの世界の中では政府に見捨てられたはみ出し者のハッカー集団なんですけど、ひょんなことからキメラに立ち向かえる驚異的な力を手に入れたっていう設定があります。
So the Hermits are actually a gang of outcasted hackers who by chance have come into a power that's capable of fighting against Chimera.
でそれを知った主人公がですね、この操作の情報を得るために危険を冒してハーミットのアジトに侵入するっていうことになります。
And the protagonist who finds out about this power decides to investigate their hideout in order to find out more information about this.
でそこでハーミットのリーダーであるカイルっていうキャラクターと出会って、情報と引き換えに主人公の戦闘スキルを試そうとして戦いを挑んでくるっていうところをこれからお見せしたいと思います。
And what we're showing viewers at home is the moment where we meet Kyle, who's the leader of the Hermits. And he wants to test our combat skills in exchange for the information that we're looking for.
And the test that we are already getting
Straight away.
So for this initial part of the combat demonstration, Kaveh is only going to be using one legion, the Sword Legion, the first one you start with, just for us to make it a bit easier to explain what's going on. So the main character can use is a police baton, called the X baton here, to attack in melee, and that weapon can also morph into a gun. And of course you can use the power of Legion. So you can summon your Legion, and when you do that, there is a stamina bar that appears on the screen. Right now it is red, it just turned blue, so it means that we can summon our Legion again. And when the Legion is out, you'll see the stamina bar starts slowly ticking down. So you're always on a timer basically when you have a Legion out. When the Legion gets hit, it actually loses a lot of stamina, or where it performs a special action. So you really have to pay attention and dismiss your Legion before the counter reaches 0, otherwise it takes quite a while, and you definitely do not want to be alone in that fight. Something that we can also see is that at regular times, when Kaveh either dodges at the last moment or performs a combo, you see that blue circular flash of light. That's the indicator that tells you that you can perform a sync combo. A sync combo is basically when you can touch on your Legion button, and you can basically make the Legion do a super flashy combo. And this sync attack is really one of the core of the gameplay mechanics for combat. You see those super flashy combos that you do in tandem with your Legion, so you're both attacking at the same time in spectacular fashion. You can trigger that in many different ways. You can, for example, trigger that when you wrap your enemies with the chain, with the Astral Chain, when you do a perfect dodge, and this all depends on which weapon you are using at that moment, or which Legion. So the combination of Legion and weapon will usually generate very different types of sync combos. And of course, the Sword Legion can also cut, as we just saw right now. And yeah, these combos are always like super flashy. If you charge or if you do different moves, you can do different combos. So now this part is over, and Kaveh actually is showing us the other Legion, the Arrow that we have here, the Arm, which is the heavy hitter of the group, and the Beast, which is the fast-paced, fast movement Legion that you can also ride.
Oh, it's very cool.
And it's very good as well there to run away from enemy attacks. And there we go, we are against Kyle now.
Right, so Mr. Tara, Kyle looks like a very interesting character. Could you tell us a little bit more about him and his design?
カイルすごく面白いデザインをしてますけど、それについても説明していただけますか。
はい、このカイルっていうキャラクターはハッカーっていう設定で、その設定を分かりやすくするためにホログラムの映像を体にまとったデザインにしてもらってます。
So Kyle is actually a hacker, so I wanted that to really come through in his character design. So I wanted actually like holograms to be scattered across his body.
さらにこのホログラムの映像がですね、カイルの感情とリンクするようにプログラムされているので、ホログラムが表情豊かに動くっていうところもチャームポイントの一つになっているので、ぜひ見てもらいたいと思います。
And one cool thing about this is that we programmed the holograms to be linked to Kyle's emotions. So you'll like during the game you'll see a range of like facial expressions that Kyle will make, which I think is actually quite a charming point of Kyle.
開発チームの中でも結構人気の高いキャラクターになってます。
Also in the development team, he's a very popular character.
I can imagine so.
I really like the design of the character, and by the way, Kaveh is doing an awesome job at showing us super cool combos.
I was noticing that there was some sort of special attacks you can do with both your player and the Legion combined.
Yeah, those are like some of the best sync attacks you can do. So I just wanted to ask Mr. Taura, do we know what's behind the mask?
仮面の裏には何があるのかっていうのは。
まあ、それはもうここでは口が裂けても言えません。
Yeah, so I really can't reveal that here today.
You tried.
Yeah, I tried. But I think, also the air of mystery that this creepy giant brain has is quite nice. And like, are those cables supposed to represent here? Is it like a hacker, like fiber cable dreadlocks kind of style?
で、カイルの髪型っていうのはどういう感じのデザインなんですか？
そうですね、あれもハッカーとか原始的なイメージをモチーフにしてケーブルをたくさん髪の毛の代わりにつけてみたら面白いんじゃないかっていうところでこういうデザインにしてもらってます。
Yeah, so it's again related to his character setting of being a hacker. So we wanted to give him like a sort of tech visual appeal to him. So we use cables as his hair.
That's really cool.
機能としては古文のハーミットがたくさんいろんなところにいるんですけど、ここからケーブルから電波を飛ばしてどこに誰がいるのかみたいなのも把握したりするような設定になっています。
And actually, each thread of his hair is sort of connected to his the underlings in the hermit. So he can communicate with each of his underlings through his hair.
That's really interesting.
特にそういう表現がゲームに出てくるわけではないんですけど、そういったいろいろイメージを膨らませてキャラクターデザインを進めます。
So it doesn't actually have any role in the game itself, but we when designing the character, we kind of imagined him to be this kind of character.
I see.
Nice play.
They're very good,
yes.
Kaveh.
So this cool boss fight is over. I like that, like we knew we were gonna start with a difficult one, but that's why we have Kaveh here to play for us. I would never touch the controller in this one because I would be not as good. Although I love to play this game. So we are now going to skip a little bit ahead because we don't want to spoil the story too much.
Right.
So we are going to show you what happens a little bit later after Kyle has given you its trust. But first, in a typical Platinum Games fashion, each individual segment is always scored and rated. So I'm curious to see what the game thinks of Kaveh's.
That's why Kaveh's quiet right now. He wants to see.
And we got S+.
Oh, nice play.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
You definitely deserve it. I'm gonna have to train a lot to reach his levels. So anyway, we're going to skip ahead, as I was saying, and let's just say that at this point we have gained Kyle's trust, and Kyle set us on the track of Douglas, which is another character that we have to track and find out. And to do that, we can use the Beast Legion. The Beast Legion can track scents. We have been given a suitcase that Douglas was using, and just like a very good dog, it will tell you where the scent is.
That's really interesting, Mr. Taura. As Filippo was saying about the ranking system, which is infamous for Platinum Games, Platinum Games also is very well known for its fast-paced action and stylish combat gameplay. With Astral Chain, there seems to be a lot of different types of gameplay all combined into one game. Was this something that you intentionally wanted to do from the start of the project, or did you naturally progress into that yourself as you further developed into the game?
アストラルチェーンにはいろんな遊びが含まれていると思うんですけど、それって開発当初から予定していたことなんですか？
いや、開発当初はデュアルアクションっていうところと鎖を使ったアクションっていうところにまずは注力してました。
So early on in development, we were really only focusing on the synergetic action and the action that's performed using the Astral Chain that connects them.
ただそれだけだとちょっと物足りなくなってきて、警察官っていうキャラクターを生かしたいろんな遊びを後からどんどん入れていきました。
But as this concept started to take shape, we started to think of new ideas to really expand on that. So we added more gameplay elements that worked well with the police setting.
で他にもアローレギオンを使ってオブジェクトを撃ち抜いて、その結果道を切り開いたりとか、あとはアームレギオンで重いものを持ってそれを動かしたりっていうようなアクションもできるようになっています。
And for example, if you use the Arrow Legion and find things to shoot at, it might reveal new paths. Or perhaps perhaps using the Arm Legion, you can carry heavy objects and carry them around with you.
Yes, I think we saw a little bit of that before in the previous battle, yeah.
前のところでちょっとそれが見えましたね。
そうですね。で今壁さんがプレイされた時みたいにどこをどうしたらいいのかわからなくなった時にはアイリスモードっていうのに入ってもらったらヒントが画面上に出るので、それも参考にしてもらいたいなと思います。
So in sections like this where Cave is playing, if players out there get a little bit lost, try turning on the iris, and then some clues or hints might pop up for you to know where to go next.
Right.
The iris is this augmented reality system
okay.
used to investigate and also to find out more clues. In fact, if Cave points at the arm, there it shows that, you should probably use the arm legion,
right.
like the arm icon there. The beast definitely shows us that it wants to get in, but we need to use the arm legion here in order to move this heavy door. And the same Arm Legion can throw those explosive barrels, as we saw there. So we start to see a little bit how each action that you can do, each tool that you have in your very large police-issued tool bag here is always usable in different situations. A lot of things that you use during combat are then used in exploration, they're used in the investigation. So there is this synergy, not just the synergy attacks, the sync attacks, there is also a synergy between you and the tools you have and the options you have in the gameplay. And here we find a big Chimera.
I can see him.
This Chimera has a huge shield, so Cave has to use the Gladius, this bigger version of the sword. It's one of the only things that goes through that shield and allows you to keep doing your combos. If he would be using the police baton there, the shield would stop him and he would never do these super cool combos that he's just doing now. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite things you can do now. Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. You can wrap, you can do a chain counter. So you can use the chain to...
that was very cool, Cave.
Use the chain to send them away. And you can also perform finishing moves.
Whoa.
Yes. So by using the finishing move, you see the Legion takes the core of the Chimera, and that replenishes the stamina of the Legion, which is this blue circle that you see every time the Legion is out, and also replenishes your life.
So what's this on the screen right now, Filippo?
Oh, that's a portal to the Astral Plane. The Astral Plane is this dimension from which the Chimera come from, their plane of existence.
Right.
And because we have Legion and because we have the Astral Chain, we can, as you can see there, be dragged by the Legion and by the chain into the Astral Plane.
Ah.
That is like certain death for normal people, but for Neuron, maybe there is a fighting chance. And this is the Astral Plane.
Ah, this area definitely looks a lot different from what we just were playing in. Mr. Tara, could you tell us a little bit about the Astral Plane and the inspiration behind the design of this particular area?
アストラル界についての説明とどこからインスピレーションを取ったのかっていうのをご説明いただけますか。
はい、まずこのアストラル界っていう異空間に入ってゲームを展開するっていうものは実は開発当初は考えてはなかったんです。
So during early development, we hadn't considered the scenario of the protagonist going into an alternate dimension.
でゲームのプレイをバトル以外にもいろいろ盛り上げたいなと思って実装を進めました。
But we wanted to add more depth to the game, in areas other than just the combat.
デザイン自体は特別何かからインスピレーションを受けたっていうことではないんですけども、単調シンプルっていうことをキーワードに意識して作ってもらいました。
But we didn't take inspiration from anything in particular, but what I did request is that the design be kept simple.
でこの単調にした理由っていうのは2つあって、一つはパズル要素だったりとかいろんな遊びが入っているので、そのレベルデザインを組み上げるのに一番適した形状であったっていうことがあります。 でもう一つはこの世界の設定に成り立ちに深くかかってくるので、今はまだ言えないのでプレイしながら探してもらいたいなと思います。
So there were actually two reasons for why we wanted to keep it simple. Firstly, it has to do with level design, such as building puzzles. Keeping it simple just makes for an easier process for kind of building on level design and puzzle elements. And the second reason is actually linked to the storyline of why the Astral Plane came to be. So I'm not going to talk about that here today. I hope folks out there will find out for themselves.
More surprises left for the viewers at home.
I mean, as you said, we are fairly strict on the no spoiler policy here, and this is why we are going to skip ahead once more.
Okay.
And at this point, let's say that we're going to go to a part of the game where we have found Douglas in the astral plane, but he escaped back into the human world.
Right.
So at this point, we have a chase.
Okay.
We are chasing Douglas, and we have to use again all of our tools and speed to get to his place, to get to his position. We can use the iris again by analyzing the CCTV footage that's like from those CCTV cameras. The augmented reality is going to basically display the hologram, the camera footage of Douglas running away. And so, Cave, run.
That was very cool.
And we are, of course, interrupted a little bit, but I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be dead before I even finish the sentence. All right. Where did he go?
Oh, there he is. Oh, the atmosphere seems to have dramatically changed. Mr. Tara, could you tell us a little bit about what's happening right now?
なんか異変が起こってるみたいな。これは何が？
そうですね、これはさっき見たアストラル界が地球への侵略をしつつある状況なんですけども、なんでこうなってるのかっていうのは実際ゲームをプレイして、それまで楽しみにしていただきたいと思います。
So it looks like some elements of the astral plane are spilling over into the human world. Why this is happening, again, I'm going to leave it for the players to find out for themselves.
More surprises for the viewers at home.
It's an interesting look how you see, this mix between astral plane and industrial kind of location. It's really cool and stylish as well. And here we see the most effective way to deal with flying chimera.
Wow. Very nice.
Using a special ability of the Arrow Legion. And another S+.
Very good.
Very good. Very good, Kave.
こういう足場が細いところはさっきみたいにアローレビオンで打ったりするとすごい戦いやすいと思います。
So in narrow places like this, like how they did, it's effective to use Arrow Legion to fire from long range.
Oh, nice.
I got this.
That's
like
it.
that's
I got it. I got it.
Here you see also those platforms that you saw back in the astral plane as well, making an appearance here as we get toward the end of this chase and everything ramps up into a climax.
Another CCTV.
Yeah. Pretty sure
There he is.
Pretty sure he went forward, on the bridge, but yeah. Here we see humans being corrupted by the red matter. That the red stuff that is on the floor is what the Chimera leave when they invade our world, and if humans are in contact with it, they can themselves be turned. Our Legion can clean that up, and just by moving over it, and by doing so, you can replenish the stamina. It's one way to replenish the stamina of your Legion. And
Oh no!
okay.
Oh,
So the poor frantic woman. I mean,
save her!
yeah, I would be frantic as well if I was just, crushed by a giant metal door.
I think I'd be more than frantic.
What the hell is that? None of this makes sense. I bet my life it has something to do with Douglas. We've
So
gotta find
The voice acting is pretty good in the game. I really like the English voice acting, but for everybody out there that would prefer to play with the Japanese voices, those are also available, so you can choose which one you prefer. And one last fight. Kaveh tried to do a perfect call there, which is when you summon a legion just as you're about to be attacked. And
Second try.
there you go.
Nice.
Avoid the attack,
Very cool.
and it also leads you into sync combos, of course. There you go. Wow, that's
Nice
pretty
sync.
cool one. Yes. Nice sync indeed. And we also see Kaveh using special abilities like those rotating blades, or the fact that now Kaveh unchained one of the legion. These are all things you can do if you unlock different legion skills. Each legion has its own individual skill tree, and you can upgrade their attack power, their defense, but also give them new moves like that, and also new possibilities to perform sync combos. You keep seeing the screen flashing, it means that Kaveh is very good. So, what do you think might be the most dangerous part of this enemy?
Well, I was about to say, I'm sure everybody watching at home can tell the giant flaming sword is the thing to watch out for.
Great powers of observation.
That's
indeed.
it.
I'm very proud.
Thank you.
Indeed, fire especially is particularly dangerous in this game.
Nicely done.
Let's see. Hey!
Oh.
Still very good. And as we move on now to the last part of this particular segment, of course, in Kaveh, who made us all proud with his skills. But we also want to show somebody else's gameplay skills, which again, not mine, because otherwise I would get sweet D ranks everywhere, all over. But we wanted to ask Mr. Taura to play the boss fight of this level, the final boss fight.
壁の戦いも良かったんですけど、もしよければ田浦さんの戦いも見せていただけないですか？
いやもう本当に素晴らしいプレーだったんで、僕もやらなくていいんじゃないかなと思います。
So you know, Kaveh did such a good job that I reckon I don't really need to play.
But please.
そういやでもせっかくなんで今日はちょっとプレイさせてもらいます。
Since I'm here, okay, let's give it a go.
Actually, we can see Mr. Taura's
Oh my
character
goodness.
is a little bit different than Kaveh's character. Of course, he's playing with the twin sister here in this case, and you can see you can really customize your characters in many different ways in this game.
There seems to be a very interesting customization here, Mr. Taura. There's a cat sitting on top of your head. Could you tell us a little bit about this customization?
ちょっと面白いカスタマイズで猫が頭の上に乗ってると思うんですけど、これについては、
もうこれはもうなんでかって言われたらただただ猫が可愛いからです。
So why there's a cat on my head? There's only one reason for that, and it's because I think cats are cute.
That's a fair point.
That's enough of a reason, right?
That's
I
more
would
than
say
good
it's
enough
of a
reason.
Yes.
ゲームでいろんな形で猫が出てくるんですけど、他にも、猫を収集するみたいな要素もあったりするんですけども、もうとにかくそういうのは開発チームみんな猫が好きだからっていうところでどんどん入れてます。
Cats are actually scattered across the game quite widely. There are even some little games where you collect cats. But yeah, you'll come across a lot of cats in the game.
でもちゃんと犬も好きなのでこうやってビーストも実装してます、ね。
But you know, I also love dogs, so that's why we have a beast legion here.
早速ボス戦の方に行っちゃいます。
So I'm gonna go right into the fight.
And actually, Mr. Taura told us earlier that you can actually pet the beast legion.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Wow.
I can confirm you can pet the dog. Well, the beast in this case.
を撫でることもできる。
そうですね。実際撫でれるのはもう皆さんがプレイしてる時に思う存分撫でてもらいたいと思います。
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Nico. You can pet the Beast Legion, but I'm going to leave that for the players to try out for themselves.
Yeah, probably with the cats out there, you know, with the cat and the boss fight, the Beast Legion was a bit nervous over
I just hope the cat remains safe in this boss battle on top of Mr. Taura's head.
I wonder if like the head is gonna be scratched, you know, with claws.
守りきれるんですね。
今ね、頭に猫を乗っけてるっていうことによって僕のパワーは300倍ぐらい。
So you know, the fact that I have to protect the cat is giving me 300 times the usual power.
It's okay, we won't distract you in this battle now.
絶対守りきってみせます。
I'm gonna do everything in my power to protect my cat.
Okay.
ここからはバトルに集中するので、皆さんで談笑してください。
So, I gotta focus on this fight now. So, you guys keep talking.
Sure.
Just not to him.
No,
Let's
no,
not
no.
distract.
We'll just marvel at this amazing battle.
Oh yeah, so here, actually, just one thing I wanted to say. The character, like we don't have a dedicated jump button in this game. There is no button that makes your character jump automatically. But you saw there that Mr. Tower executed an aerial combo. This is because if you send your Legion and your Legion is in the air and you get pulled by your Legion, then you also go in the air. And of course, like any action game that is worth its name, you can do air combos and you can do really flashy ones as well. You can really feel the weight of the arm slamming down on the floor. And big laser, of course.
Wow.
Big laser, always good.
Very good.
So the objective here is we want to try to wrap the chain around the two legs and the two arms of this giant chimera, and that allows us to stun the boss and then be able to do some damage. Otherwise, you always have to be paying a lot of attention about its attacks, and you have very few moments of respite here. Beast Legion good to escape laser, and Arrow Legion good for shooting the boss to distance. And of course you see that sometimes this boss is, as he's walking on the walls, there are all these panels on the walls that sometimes fall. And just like Kaveh did with Kyle before, we could try to use one of those panels and throw it at the head of the boss to stun him briefly. Here also we see another use for the iris, as because Mr. Taura activated the iris, that's why we can see the life bar of the boss.
Right.
Normally you will not be able to see the life bar of any enemy until you use the iris. So again, keeping with the spirit of each thing you do as multiple purposes, or each tool you have can be used in different ways. He's pretty agile for being such a big guy.
Yeah, I was just about to comment on the fact that I'm really liking the fact that he's using the entire area and he's not a static boss in any shape or form.
Yeah. Actually, for people that have been following our shows at E3, for example, they might have seen a different version of the Homunculus, a completely different boss battle that was there. This is the Homunculus beta, so it's a different. And big sign.
Perfect
Arm
use for the
Legion.
Arm Legion. Nice. That's really
Alright.
cool.
There was always some humor, some tongue-in-cheek humor in Platinum Games title. And there we can go for our last phase.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I like that fast punching combo with the Arm Legion.
So I noticed as well, Filippo, the numbers that appear, they sometimes are in different colours. So is it when they're in yellow, is that some kind of critical hit?
Yes,
or?
it's just higher. Yeah, you're hitting in a
Right.
place that's higher damage.
Whoa.
I do.
Very cool.
Yeah, incredibly dramatic. The music, the rain, the light effects, everything like really makes it. This is how you make a great action.
Oh, nice play.
Nice play.
Very good. We're all waiting for the score.
Oh,
Yes, very good.
Very good. Excellent.
We would not have settled for anything.
Anything
else,
less.
actually, here.
これ以下はダメですよ。
So, Mr. Tower, first and foremost, your cat survived.
猫を守りきりましたね。
猫守りきりました。
Yeah, I managed somehow.
Excellent job. And thank you so much for showcasing some fantastic gameplay there. For the viewers who are watching at home, do you have any last remarks you'd like to give them?
最後に視聴者に向けてメッセージなどはありますか？
そうですね。いよいよアストラルチェーン発売まであと少しになりました。で、この完全新規 IP の作品で、見た目もアクションもかなり癖があるものになっているんですけど、 このゲームでしか味わえない体験がたくさん詰まっていて、シナリオも音楽もアクションもかなり力を入れて作りましたので、ぜひご期待いただきたいと思います。
Yeah, so the release of Astral Chain is really right around the corner now. It's a completely new IP that has really unique visuals and gameplay, but this also means that we were able to pack in a lot of new experiences that players will only be able to find in this game. We've also put a lot of love and effort into the storyline and the music, so I really hope that players out there are going to have a good time with this game.
I'm sure I will. Really,
I think we
30th of
all
August
will.
couldn't come any sooner for me. Really.
But once again, Mr. Tower, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really an honor to have you here and play this incredible game for us.
本当に今日はお越しいただいてありがとうございます。
いや、こちらこそありがとうございました。楽しかったです。
Yeah, thank you so much as well. I had a lot of fun.
Excellent, thank you. And Filippo, thank you so much for being here today and talking us
My
through
pleasure.
lots of elements of this fantastic title. And Kaveh, brilliant play earlier. Thank you so much for your gameplay as well.
Yep.
Yes,
Thank you.
it's better than I would do. It was
Nice
really,
play,
really
Desai.
good.
ナイスプレー、ナイスプレー。
Thank you.
Very
I'm
good.
honored.
And of course, Kaz, thank you so much for interpreting for us today in this presentation.
You're welcome, Nims.
Excellent. And for everybody who is watching at home, this was the very exciting Astral Chain, which is releasing on August the 30th, which is literally next week. So we hope you guys are really looking forward to this title. But from everybody here, thank you so much for watching. We'll all see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.